Merlin's Mayhem is the newest roller coaster at Dutch Wonderland, and arguably its star attraction. This family-inverted coaster dominates the center of the park with its bright yellow track and swooping turns. And Dutch Wonderland went the extra mile to plus this attraction with some theming and onboard audio. So does this coaster make Dutch Wonderland worth visiting? Find out in this review of Merlin's Mayhem. For over 2 decades, Kingdom Coaster was the star attraction at Dutch Wonderland. The first CCI wood coaster runs along the perimeter of the park, attracting visitors off the Lincoln Highway. But late in 2016, Dutch Wonderland began teasing a new addition, and on November 1st, 2016, the park announced Merlin's Mayhem, a family-inverted coaster that looked really similar to the ones built by Vekoma, except this ride was from S&S Sansei instead. To date, it is the only family-inverted coaster that S&S has built, and was originally supposed to open for the summer of 2017. But that never happened. Like several of S&S's most recent coaster installations, Merlin's Mayhem was delayed. And this was a long delay too. Like Gale Force, Merlin's Mayhem was delayed a full year until 2018. The rumored reason for the ride's delays were the state taking a while to sign off on the ride due to its interactions with the Skyride, which is one of the biggest things about this ride. Merlin's Mayhem passes both over and under the Skyride at several points over its 1,300 feet or 400 meters of track. The ride sits on the old home of the park's Turnpike car ride, which was relocated in 2014 to Exploration Island in the back of the park. This cleared a giant plot of land in the center of Dutch Wonderland for Merlin's Mayhem, and the ride has a commanding presence next to the midways. Merlin's Mayhem cost $7.5 million, which did seem like a lot of money for a coaster this scale, but that figure likely included the theming this coaster received. The ride is themed to Merlin's pet dragon named Mayhem, and while Merlin loved his dragon, Mayhem was always getting into trouble, and one day he flew away, so Merlin needed everyone's help to catch his beloved pet dragon. It's a relatively simple premise, but it does work for a park like Dutch Wonderland, and the queue line tells the story. You have a goofy video, plus a few banners showing Mayhem's missteps. The ride has a castle-themed entrance, and the queue line is designed to take place in a castle courtyard. The one criticism I have with this queue line is that outside of the switchbacks, there is no roof or netting to protect you from the blazing hot sun. And there is a decent chance you'll have to wait a little bit here. The ride runs just one train, and usually has dispatches approaching 5 minutes. As a result, this ride tends to have roughly a half-hour wait in my 2 visits since the coaster is opened. Once you reach the end of the line, the grouper will admit just enough people to fill the next train into the castle. If you want to wait for a specific row, the park is more than happy to allow you to wait an extra cycle for that seat. The coaster is similar across all rows in terms of forces, but I do slightly prefer the front for the superior visuals. You have an unobstructed view up there. The staging area is filled with all sorts of theming, but your view of the station itself is blocked off by these giant doors with your row number on them. Once the station is completely clear of everyone from the prior train, the doors open, revealing the ride's trains. It's a neat little reveal that gives the ride a mysterious atmosphere. And those trains have a lot of similarities to the rolling stock on the Vekoma family suspended coasters. These trains have 10 rows, seating a maximum of 20 guests, and they are extremely open. You have just a seatbelt with a very minimalistic lap bar, so your entire upper body is free. The one thing I noticed with the trains is that the seats were rather narrow, but they were otherwise quite accommodating. But if the tighter seats is what helped get this ride a super low 39-inch height requirement, I am all for it. This low height requirement allows a lot of kids as young as age 4 to ride this coaster. Once the ride begins, you climb up the lift hill and you start hearing the ride's onboard audio. My one gripe with this audio, and it's one that other rides are guilty of too, is that it was really difficult to hear the audio for a majority of the ride. I struggled to hear any of it over the wind, so I only really heard the audio ascending the lift hill and while on the brake run. Once atop the 60-foot or 18-meter tall lift hill, you travel down this small pre-drop. And if you're in the back, this pre-drop delivers a surprising amount of whip despite its small size. That is followed by the ride's largest drop, which has been coined the reversing horseshoe drop by S&S. Basically, it's a 180-degree turn that morphs into a drop. The turn itself is rather tight and offers some decent positive Gs for those towards the front of the train, and it also includes an exciting near miss as you pass over the sky ride. But the drop itself isn't too thrilling as it's rather shallow. You then zip around a turn above a pond. The turn itself isn't very forceful, but it is a very visually pleasing element as you skim over the water and dodge the supports. The train then passes under the lift hill and navigates a 270-degree upwards helix, and this element offers some good positive Gs regardless of where you're sitting. It is easily the ride's most forceful moment. This is immediately followed by a graceful dive into a smoke-filled tunnel. The drop is too shallow to offer any airtime, but the minimal clearance of the tunnel combined with the smoke effect makes the element memorable. You then rise out of the tunnel and are pretty much out of speed, so you meekly round one last turn and then you hit the brakes, ending the ride. Merlin's Mayhem isn't super long, but its length is about in line with the other suspended or inverted coasters like this from other manufacturers. In terms of smoothness, Merlin's Mayhem is quite smooth. You will feel a slight vibration on 2 or 3 turns, but it caused zero discomfort for me due to the comfortable trains. In terms of pacing, Merlin's Mayhem feels comparable to the Vekoma suspended family coasters. The ride mixes in an occasional turn with some force, but the ride is mostly about the visual of flying above the midway, and Merlin's Mayhem definitely succeeds in that regard. It is a beautiful display of visuals. So what would I rate Merlin's Mayhem? I would give this family invert a 7 out of 10. The ride itself is probably a 6, but I'm giving it an extra 1 for all the theming. For a family park like Dutch Wonderland, Merlin's Mayhem is a very good ride. The coaster is a low height requirement and offers the perfect amount of thrills to appeal to young kids without boring older guests. There are only 1 or 2 forceful turns, but the ride really is more about the awesome visuals, smooth ride, and feeling of flight. And like I said earlier, that theming is icing on the cake. Compared to the Vekoma family suspended coasters out there, I don't quite think Merlin's Mayhem is quite as forceful as Dollywood's Dragon Flyer, but I do prefer to the Freedom Flyer layout you see elsewhere, especially when you consider that theming. While S&S has yet to build another family invert, I would not mind seeing more. So those are my thoughts on Merlin's Mayhem. Have you been to Dutch Wonderland? If so, what are your thoughts on this inverted coaster? I would love to hear your thoughts on the ride down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.